Yeah, so I don't think the Eastern Observer, or specifically the Essential Wrestling Podcast, will be doing any pre or post show press conferences, I guess, now going forward. I didn't have the cold open today. I didn't think about it. For whatever reason, it slipped in my mind. My bad. That was terrible. My bad. Bad joke. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. My name is Karl. I am your host of Misinformation. And as always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is powered by the Eastern Observer. You can taste the power. Gary, I guess I have noticed the past couple of weeks you do actually have an Eastern Observer cup. What was the shipping to get that over to you? Do you even know?
I dread to think. 2 cups and 2 T-shirts. I dread to think.
Yeah. A lot of pounds, I guess, right?
But thank you, Joy.
Wild weekend. I guess both story and in real life, in the world of professional wrestling. We'll try to dive into to most of it. We got some big matches coming up. They just announced maybe about an hour ago for NXT tonight. Get excited. On the bottom part of our screen, we have our first ever PWB champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are things today, pal?
Good. It's a rainy day here in Jersey, and although I am a Jersey boy, I'm proud to be so, I am also a Chicago Blackhawks fan, so I would like to double down and reiterate by saying Ron Francis.
I guess I missed something. It's kind of my world, and I guess I just haven't turned on the hockey switch yet. Next up on the bottom part of our screen,
what the hell? Sorry about that.
What did Ron Francis do?
It was part of CM Punk's press conference. He basically was running down everyone who's ever pissed him off his entire life.
Oh, Ron Francis did.
Ron Francis with the 92 Penguins beat the Blackhawks.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, Punk is a very big Blackhawks fan. On the bottom part of the screen, next to John DeConnie from overseas, Gary Mehaffy. Gary, top of the evening to you, Maladi. We got another long show for you today. That was your work, your weekend. How was Gary Appreciation Weekend?
It was very good, but I have a question for all of you. I mean, how many among you are actually qualified podcasters here? I mean, do any of us do it? I mean, I haven't been friends with John Smith for years, and I've been paying his bills for a long time. I mean, people keep bringing his name up, and you keep sticking me underneath him here, and I'm sorry. And I've got the receipts. I found out he shared a bank account with his son, and I've had enough. I'm not mentioning his name anymore because we can all go and get stuff. The people that run this think they know what they're doing. And none of these listen to anybody that anything tells you. I'm going to punch allegedly a few people here.
I didn't understand a word he just said.
Gary's had some late night pot of coffee in him before the show tonight. He's fired up on the top part of my screen.
And number 4, John Smith.
John Smith. That's a tough act to follow, John. I got nothing right there for you.
Yeah, we had a fun day yesterday at our fantasy football draft.
Yes.
Afterwards, I took my son to the pool for the last day of the pool, and I left my phone on the roof of the car on the way home, and it went flying off as I was going around a turn. I didn't have any pockets in my bathing suit, so I found the phone though, but the screen was scratched to bleep.
You should have had plenty of space in your bathing suit to be fair about it, but it's so here, but like
usually it's fat jokes where we too tight. But.
I was in the pool. On today's episode, trying to get back to wrestling here. On today's episode, Braun Breaker, Mandy Rose, and Pretty Deadly got their jobs done at World Collide. Masha Slamovich punched her ticket to Bound for Glory in the main event of Impact. Gary Mehaffy on stream with us. He's going to join us later. Gotta say goodbye to NXT UK, so we'll give Gary some time here. I'm not looking forward to that, but that's what we got to do here. You got to do everything. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows, which is always sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. Guys, she'll like it too. We are going to main event the show with a renewed rivalry in AEW as CM Punk regained the AEW Championship with MJF. That Joker waiting in the wings. Here are the Raw roll-up standings heading into last week. I want you to remember this. I'll bring this back up at the end of the show. Raw with a 3 roll-up lead going into last week. AEW did some work. Impact did some, not Impact, NXT did some work as well. AEW did some work. Let's see where we go with this. But we're going to curtain jerk the show with Clash at the Castle, Gary Mehaffy, the main event, our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, going against hometown, I guess, countryman, he's from England, but still, UK, close enough, right? It's all one big United Kingdom over there, correct?
Well, in theory.
In theory. Theory did get involved. Got punched in the face for it, but sorry, I don't know. I'm just gonna let you go with this one. Who knew Solo Sikoa? Who knew?
I know. We all thought that we'd do something. I loved from the start to the end of it when they gave Drew his old music, and I'll be honest, I purposely didn't ask anything before it. And the whole way through the match, the way it was laid out, the way all the 2 counts between the 2 of them, I thought, oh, Drew's winning the title here. Even when they had them both knocked down and the referee knocked down and Theory comes out, I thought, oh, and then Tyson Fury decked him. Great. Here we go. Brought it the whole way through, and then sorry, my notes have now just disappeared off my screen. And as we obviously come towards the end, and they were giving each other a good kicking. And McIntyre eventually hit a spear and a claymore. McIntyre had it 1, and as we said, referee counts 1, referee's counting 2, disappears under the bottom rope for Solo Sikoa to show himself, seeing as they had pushed the whole way along. Oh, there's no Usos, there's no Paul Heyman, he's on his own. And all of a sudden, Solo Sikoa shows up. And then after kicking out of so many things, you end up with McIntyre gets flattened, hits the spears as he comes back in. Reigns hits the spear. And it's the 1, 2, 3, and he retains. Before we have sing along with Drew after those.
I'm about to say, we had a sing along afterwards. 62,296 people singing American Pie.
That's Tyson. The funniest line out of all that was at one point in the middle of it, and Drew goes, Are we still on the air? What's happening? But it was it was a way to try and get it, honestly.
And then they paid homage to Noam Dar by singing Oasis and Don't Look Back in Anger. So that was fun. That was a good time. You know, I always got to get Noam Dar on there. John Smith, Intercontinental Championship. I believe this match has now officially landed into your top 5 favorite matches of all time.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is definitely match of the year so far this year, in my opinion. I loved it. I went back and watched it the next morning. Like, it was the first thing I did when I woke up was find this match and go watch it again. And we had the return of Vinci. Giovanni Vinci. Imperium was back together. So it was 3-3 in the ring at the beginning, and then Butch and Holland go after Ludwig Borga and Vinci. Then they end up getting off to the back. The whole time Sheamus and Gunther are just staring at each other, just knowing what the hell they're going to do to each other. And then they finally get going, and it was just a fight and a half. I can't say enough good things about it. Sheamus just got his front side and back side destroyed by chops the whole match. He was able to give a bunch of beats of the Bowery to Gunther in return, but Sheamus took the brunt of this beating, and it was awesome. And you know, he went for the bro kick, and his back went out. Then he got power bombed, and then just the sickest lariat, like JBL, that would make JBL blush. And we got the 3 count, and the champ retains in the first Intercontinental Championship match at a premium live event in how long? Possibly like 2 years now.
Yeah, that's not named WrestleMania. I can't remember the last time I don't even. What was the Intercontinental title match? I was sitting. It wasn't Sammy. It was. I don't even know.
I don't think there was one this year.
No, because Ricochet had it, right? And Vince wasn't putting Ricochet in WrestleMania. So yeah, absolutely great match. And then at the end, Sheamus got the standing ovation from the crowd, 62,000, 296 standing on their feet, cheering for Sheamus. And I kind of felt for him right there. I'm like, you know what? As a guy who's been a heel probably 75% of his career, and the last time he was a face was probably when he fought Hunter at WrestleMania all those years ago when he was world champion. He didn't necessarily run as world champion as a face, but that was so long ago. And it just, Sheamus, I think he finally got appreciated. He felt it. I think that was a nice moment for him. And now he can go back to being a D-hole. So good for him. Liv Morgan got the job done. She defeated Shayna Baszler with a code breaker into oblivion. So to retain the SmackDown Women's title. So my face is a little bit red. I was saying the only way she could win this was with the Raw roll-up. And although Liv did try it on several occasions, because she knows that Shayna Baszler's kryptonite, Liv got it done straight up with an oblivion and a 1-2-3. And yes, going forward. Good job, Liv. John DeConnie.
Sir.
Edge and Rey Mysterio and the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley in one corner, Dominic Mysterio in the other.
And a whole
I would say stole the show, but they definitely stole the show last night on Raw. And everything was kind of centered around that. But this was,
this was the beginning of what this led to that. So you've got Edge and Rey versus Finn and Priest, and you have an otherwise very good match. Nothing wrong with the match for 12 and a half minutes. But when you get right to the end there, and when the psychology and the team warfare starts playing into it, that's when it really gets interesting. You had Dom Mysterio hook Balor's leg from outside, which let Papa Ray take advantage there and knock him to the ropes, hit the 619. He stumbles backwards, does Balor right into the path of an Edge spear, and they get the 1-2-3. So everyone should be happy, and there should be much rejoicing. And Edge and Rey are. And Dominic looks about as uncomfortable and borderline confused as any human being ever has, as he kind of stands there in between his father and, one of his many wrestling uncles, I'm sure, a good family friend, Edge. Yes, there's some tension because Dom wanted to be in the match, but didn't quite think it was going to go where it went. Dom decides to kick Edge in the ding-ding, and when Ray kind of, pulls him aside and says, "What are you doing? What's going on here? Calm down, son." He levels his father with a clothesline and walks off. So, Edge and Ray got the win, but didn't have a great day overall.
No, it was not a great day. Dom actually interfered in that match. I said that I was too busy trying to go on Twitter to share this. And trying to get my cat from start clawing me in the chest. Dom actually, interfered pretty unprovokedly on that. There was a lot of heel tactics going during that match by Dom, and then then eventually kicked to the jimmies, and then it was reminiscent of, I guess, what Eddie did. I saw a video. It was side by side. I guess Eddie did the same thing. Had Ray by the back of the head, and then pulled him in for a clothesline after WrestleMania 21. So, and the funny thing was after that whole entire time, the Judgment Day were laughing their asses off in the corner of the ring. I thought that was awesome.
Which birthed a meme.
Yep. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Oh, I haven't seen any memes with that yet. That's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. Just look up AEW press conference and you'll see the Judgment Day laughing their asses off every single Seth Rollins defeated Matt Riddle after a stomp for the middle turnbuckle. And then Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, they defeated Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss. After Bianca ate all three finishers, then being pinned by Bayley. So that was the only one I got wrong. I was pissed about that one. Tegan Knox, Gary, where the hell was Tegan Knox? Missed opportunity?
I think so, to be fair.
Oh, that pissed me off. Oh, anyway. That was my only negative on the whole. There's a couple negatives, but that was the big one. I wanted that one. But so here are the standings after Clash at the Castle, or WWE standings. Brian Roy Beavis Ravens went 4-2. I went 5-1. Like I said, that was the one I got wrong for 13 points. Gary, John DeConnie had their money on Drew McIntyre, the new champion. And that cost him some points right there. So next, before we move forward to the rest of the week, I was going to rewind to SmackDown real quick. John DeConnie, we had a Viking burial match. What was it called again? Viking rules match.
Yes, the Viking rules match, which basically meant no rules and falls count anywhere. And they did a cool thing. They had a bunch of the Viking shields that I thought were just leaned. I thought they were going to be used as weapons. I thought they were just leaned against the bottom rope. They were actually attached to the bottom rope, so you couldn't roll out on either side of the ring. You only could on the ramp side and the announcer side. So people's heads were bounced off of those, and a couple of them were broken, and it got hardcore. And then the ramp side had the masthead of a boat, and the masthead itself was a dragon. So it was a little platform extended beyond the ring, and they got extreme all over that as well. And in the end, they wound up, the Viking Raiders wound up stacking 2 tables just to the side of the Viking dragon boat masthead, and they put Xavier Woods through those 2 tables, so Ivar could then pin him at ringside. It was 22 minutes of these 2 teams getting extreme. It was very enjoyable. It was a little bit goofy. It was a little bit funny, but it was very hardcore, and it was very much enjoyable.
Going forward, hopefully both those teams, let's get the Usos involved in that, like a triple threat, like 3-way, some type of thing coming up. That'd be pretty fun. Karrion Kross made his in-ring re-debut. Karrion Kross, take 2. He defeated Drew Gulak after a straight jacket. Then he tied Gulak into the ropes, hanging outside of the ring. Kind of a crucifix position. I haven't heard any. I guess there's a lot of other stuff going on this weekend, so I think maybe this one just kind of slipped through the cracks here, but. Was it Raven was crucified, or didn't Raven crucify somebody?
Raven crucified the Sandman.
Sandman. So I guess I guess the Undertaker also, did the Stephanie McMahon. I don't think anyone said anything about that. The internet wasn't around back then, but Karrion Kross, message sent to whoever he was supposed to put that on with a power move right there. The best way to put that. Hit Row defeated Maximum Male Models after a heavy hitter. Post-match attack by Los Lotharios. Thwarted by the Street Profits, and then Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Happy Corbin after Corbin slid outside to do his around the ring post type deal, came back in, ate a Kinshasa instead of going for the clothesline. As Corbin was leaving, though, a limo with familiar horns on the hood approached Corbin with a voice asking what happened to him. Get in. Corbin with a big smile on his face. So, John DeConnie, how do you feel about Corbin and Bradshaw running around?
Get ready for Baron Corbin Layfield and a possible run to a Royal Rumble win and a Mania main event, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what JBL did. It just all of a sudden he changed. He put on a top hat and he was world champion for 10 months.
JBL won the Rumble?
He didn't win the Rumble. No. He beat Eddie Guerrero in that bull rope match, that 4 corners bull rope match out of nowhere.
I remember that.
That's it. Then he held it for 10 months.
That was almost as random as Jinder Mahal winning the title.
It was. Yep. And I believe it was at One Night Stand. The only reason why you were a champ for as long as you were is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
I was there, actually. I was at One Night Stand.
Nice.
Anyway, John DeConnie, last night on Raw, we had a steel cage match main event for the United States title. The Miz had the brilliant idea of using a cage to keep Dexter Lumis out. He who shall not be mentioned.
Yeah, because
out.
Suddenly we're not allowed to say certain. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so this match was about 14 minutes long, but the segment had to have been about 25 or so, because during the introductions, referee holds up MVP's United States Championship, and Miz swipes it, uses it to hit Bobby in the back of the head, roll him out of the cage, and him and Ciampa work him over for about 5 minutes, before they go to a commercial break. They work him over for 5 minutes during the commercial break, including using the ring steps to catch his arm into the cage and the ring post. So now Bobby's working with a possibly broken arm and can't do some of his power moves. Then they finally get back into the cage, and just like Miz tries 2 quick pins, they don't work. Bobby's not going down that easy. Then there's a little bit of back and forth. Miz almost gets out of the cage 1 time, maybe 2 times. Bobby pulls him back in. Then Bobby thinks about going over, and Ciampa starts using a chair, whacking his toes out of the fence as he's trying to climb. Then Bobby gets almost out the door. Of course, Ciampa slams it, but Bobby kind of holds it. It doesn't hit him. He slams it back towards Ciampa, knocks Ciampa out. But Miz reaches over Bobby, grabs the door, and pulls it to him and slams Bobby's head in the door about, 20, 30 times. So now he could just step over him and walk out, but he decides to go about as far away from him as he can and climb the opposite side of the cage. Still unimpeded. He gets to the top. He gets over the top. His feet are on the outside of the cage. All he has to do is let go, but he makes that mistake that some climbers make of looking down. And in his case, it wasn't necessarily the height that got to him. It was Dexter Lumis, or he who shall not be named, peeking out from under the ring, scaring him so much that he climbed back up over and into the cage, because suddenly now we're not necessarily worried about winning a match. We're just trying to get away from this evil, deadly man, Dexter Lumis. And he winds up, the Miz that is, winds up running right into a spear and a 1-2-3 for Bobby to retain. And then Lumis gets in the cage and does what he wants to Miz anyway, which is, and I thank him so much for this, silence.
Austin Theory had an in-ring promo, still the youngest Money in the Bank winner of all time, as he loves to mention that to us. He has some unfinished business with Roman Reigns. Good luck with that. Anyways, the promo's interrupted by Kevin Owens, John Smith. Kevin Owens called Theory delusional. Austin Theory called Kevin Owens jealous. So they fought about it.
Yeah, they did fight about it, and Kevin Owens had another good promo, of course. He was like a ball of fire after that, so Theory rolled out of the ring to get his jacket off and everything, and Owens went out the opposite way and ran around and clotheslined the crap out of him. So he started that way, and Kevin Owens basically, held on to the match throughout the commercial break, and when he came back, Theory threw him into the ring post and then brought him to the outside and slammed his back on the steps that were still assembled. So he fell like 45 degrees onto the steps. It was kind of gross to watch, actually. They get back in the ring. Kevin Owens reverses a superplex into his, fisherman's thingy off the second rope, and then we get a pop-up power bomb and a stunner for the 1-2-3, and Kevin Owens takes down Austin Theory, who got his name back.
He did. Can't remember the last time Theory's won a match. That's the funny thing. Was it Money in the Bank? Was that the last match he's won?
No, he beat Ziggler.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, everybody. That's right. He's the one person on the worst losing streak in Theory.
It's a random main event.
Yep. Backstage interview with Johnny Gargano. He's going to be returning next week, Gary. Excited to see Johnny on the main roster Monday nights. We haven't seen him in 9 months.
I do change back to Johnny Wrestling from Johnny Talking, obviously, and I think that'll be from what I read. But no, it is. I think it'll be a good addition. I think he will make people more interested in him than, for instance, the previous regime may have thought.
Mm-hmm. John DeConnie. It was a number 1 contenders tag team championship match. I do believe there was an interview with The Miz and Ciampa prior to this, and we noticed another Easter egg. There was a car flipped over. Now, I only know one person that can flip over a car. I know 2, actually. Mark Henry's in AEW, though. You have 3, Gary. How'd this work out for that match? Who won, by the way?
Yeah, I had some issues with this match for multiple reasons, or for this with this segment, I should say, because Raw started with about 25 minutes of talking, and then we go into this fatal 4-way tag team #1 contender match. So I'm excited. We're going to get some wrestling, and it's not for a title, but it's leading towards a title, which is painfully missing from Raw. So, okay, you've got yourselves the New Day, Alpha Academy, Los Lotharios, and the Street Profits. And they put on a hell of a match for about 13 minutes. Although, again, problems, 25 minutes of talking, all the introductions, the bell rings. Within 2 minutes, we're in a commercial break. 3.5-minute commercial, we're back out. 3 minutes of wrestling, we're back into a commercial break. Back out of a commercial break. Okay, we're going to get a #1 contender at the end of this. And then, roar! We get the return of Braun Strowman. And I guess him interrupting, I don't know, a singles match, a regular tag match where he gets to murder 2 to 4 people, just wasn't going to put the exclamation on the end of his return quite sufficiently for Mr. Helmsley. He had to basically decimate the entire tag team division minus the champs and the Viking Raiders. So he comes back. You get a no contest in your fatal 4-way. But we've got the big man back, and he didn't want to talk about it, but he'll let us know what he thinks on SmackDown.
Yeah, he's gonna go right to SmackDown. Maybe he's gonna go right to Roman Reigns. I mean, it all started with Strowman, right? That was Roman Reigns won a triple threat with Strowman and Bray Wyatt the week after SummerSlam, and then Braun got future endeavored. And we just never really, I don't know, did we get a rematch of this? I don't know. But yeah, a tag team division that was once owned by Braun Strowman, winning the tag titles at WrestleMania with a 10-year-old. So there you go. Still think he should have won that by himself, though. It should have been a 2-on-1. But it probably, I mean, it wasn't in any way, but it was still just a 2-on-1 versus the Bar would have been great. Anyway, I digress. Damage Control was the new nickname, the new team name for Bayley, Kind Sky. Damage Control in-ring promo gloating about their win at the Clash. Interrupted by Bianca Belair saying, as long as she's a champ, Damage Control is in control of nothing. Bayley ended saying when she decides to want to take the title, that she will do it in one way or another. In the meantime, Kind Sky had a tag team championship match next Monday night on Raw. So fun thing right here. Well, there's Kind Sky. There we go. It's that magical time of year right now. Next Monday night starts Monday Night Football. Triple H loading up the card to make sure he doesn't lose a lot of viewers to Russell Wilson going back to Seattle and playing the Seahawks, of all games, to go up against. So Triple H announced some matches, or Monday Night Raw announced some matches. The first one, John Smith. We're going to have Damage Control challenging Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez, who defeated Doudrop and Nikki Ash after a Tejana bomb on Doudrop. That was pretty impressive. In a non-title match. I guess we're starting a new tradition in the tag team division where the champions actually win non-title matches.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, actually.
Makes sense every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going with Kind Sky on this. You know, I feel like they got Bayley in their corner. She's going to make sure they win.
All right. Gary.
I'm the same. I think that this is coming in. They're going to make a statement. So I'm going Dakota and Io as well. Wow,
John Nicani. I'm going to go with Raquel and Aaliyah on this. I just think that's, I don't want to say too soon, but like, why have them win it now? Like when they could have won it 2 weeks ago and walked the aisle in Wales as tag champions. Like why?
So Aaliyah could get her participation trophy.
So yeah, Aaliyah will have a belt around her waist in the 8x10s that she signs for the rest of her life. Once she, yeah, you know, I think the storyline was that Dakota wasn't the legal person when she got rolled up for the title, so that's why they're getting the rematch. But then why, like you said, why bother doing that storyline? Or I take the other side of it. Why bother doing that storyline if you're not putting the titles right on them? So I'm gonna go with Kai and Sky. Just like
wow. Okay, I'm on an island on this one. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Did pretty good on my island picks
I
this
was
week.
say, yeah, it worked
I
out
did
for you
okay on
sometimes this weekend. Yeah.
I did pretty okay on my island. There's an in-ring promo with Edge, and here we go right back to the story. Ray can handle Dominic the way he feels best, but Edge is going to kick his ass. So Ray came out asking Edge to ease up, which Edge said no. Cue up Rhea Ripley, who made Dom into a man. Wonder what happened on that plane ride home from the United Kingdom. Ray wants nothing to do with this anymore, pleaded to Dom one last time to not do this as he walked away. Judgment Day would jump Edge, working over his knee. Later, backstage, Rey Mysterio, he loves his son and he won't put his hands on his son, wants to speak to Dom in private. On the other hand, Ray wants to the Judgment Day. He wants to kick the Judgment Day's ass for tearing for Ray's family apart. Damien, that didn't work out so well. He had a one-on-one contest. Damien Priest defeated Rey Mysterio after Dom interrupted the 619, allowing Priest to hit the South of Heaven. Post-match, Rhea announced what Poppy wants, Poppy gets. Now, Dom, who I'm assuming is playing the role of Poppy in this situation, Poppy wants Edge next week. So we're getting right into this, looking for this to probably be the main event, Gary, to go up against Monday Night American Football, which is a big deal over here. It's opening weekend. It's a huge celebration in the States, and then a lot of off-season shenanigans with Russell Wilson leading into Monday night's game being more emotional than necessary. So we're going Dom and Edge with a worked over knee. Edge's knee is an issue.
DQ. I think it's one of the rare times. There's been a lot of clean finishes. I think there'll be a DQ and Ray gets involved, and we might see Beth appear, and we'll have Ray appear, and we'll have all sorts of stuff. But I think there'll be a DQ and some sort of schmoz.
All right, so the teams are a little lopsided right now. We have Finn, Damien, Dominic, and then Rhea. Then the other side we're missing another male competitor for a 4-on-4 here, so we can get Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley at each other. John Smith.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dom on this one. I think they're gonna help him win.
Yeah, I got Dom in this. It might be by disqualification. That wouldn't make sense if it's a disqualification. But it's definitely heel tactics, Sean McConney. But I think Dominic beating Edge would be a huge thing here.
Yeah.
And when is Dom changing his last name to Guerrero?
Not soon enough. Yeah, I mean, he had his own personal plane ride from hell, but in a good way, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't win here, Gary might be right. There might just be a mess of an ending where they just beat the hell out of Ray and Edge. But I think if we get a definitive victory, it's got to be Dom, and it's obviously got to be cheat to win.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, I could see it. I just think because they're heading. What's the next one? Is Extreme Rules? Is coming up?
Yes.
That's why I just sort of think if they kind of end up beating away on each other, and then all of a sudden you kind of go to some sort of random tag at it or something like that.
Eye for an eye.
I'm about to say we have half the participants ready. Mysterio's eye for an eye, like that's. I don't know. Jonathan. I was kind of hoping this rant would be better than the one on that one, but that's still just the top of your list. So that will take us away from Monday night. We're going to go to NXT 2.0 versus NXT UK, and I guess and Friends, because Raw was represented and SmackDown was represented. And then those superstars will find their way back to NXT tonight. So we'll get into that in a second. But Worlds Collide, Gary. I was with you. And I thought he was going to do it. I went on an extra rant in the pick article that we released, saying that Tyler Bate has to win this. It just craps all over the brand. And if he does win, if you're new to the NXT UK, well, maybe I want to go back and see Tyler. Oh, who's this Ilya Dragunov guy? Hey, there's no MDR. Oh my God, that was Walter back then. Look how much weight he's on. You could have done a lot of stuff, with Tyler Bate winning, and they just told me to go. No.
Yeah, young Master Breaker beat young Master Bate, and we Actually, what I think almost threw Tyler at the start was the crowd started to chant Tyler two belts at the very start, and they were behind Breaker, but they chanted that, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. But we did. I mean, there was a lot going on. There was a bit of back and forth. I thought at the start, to be fair, the first 5-6 minutes, I thought Breaker looked a wee bit off. I don't know whether he was thrown slightly, but he seemed a wee bit not quite his usual self. But then he did get this flying bulldog for a near fall, and Tyler was kicking out. There was a great deadlift from Tyler Bate into Tyler Driver 97 for a fantastic near fall. And I did like when Breaker did the power slam or the military press off the power slam off the ropes, and Bate got his leg on the bottom rope just to break the count, which ironically, I'm not actually sure why here. When I said got his foot on the rope, I actually raised my foot and started to put it out and thought nobody can actually see me do that, but whatever. And all of a sudden then we have down come the straps on the singlet like Jerry Lawler in Memphis. And Breaker was getting serious and did have his last go, tried the Tyler driver, didn't get it. Victory roll, didn't quite get it. And as he went for the slingshot off the ropes, Breaker hit him with the Steiner line or whatever you want to call it and got the 1, 2, 3 and took both belts.
Yeah, so Garrett, that I did these. I'm not trying to throw it in your face or anything. This is just for educational purposes. This is the NXT UK Championship lineage right there. See, Tyler Bate was the first. Wanted him to be the last, but that final champion right there, Braun Breaker. It's funny. You look other than Tyler Bate's 2 title wins. The other title wins were all on NXT takeovers. When Pete Dunne beat Tyler Bate, that was TakeOver Chicago. When Walter beat Pete Dunne, that was at NXT TakeOver New York in Brooklyn. And then dragging off with that monumental win over Walter, SummerSlam weekend last year. Not that was 2 years ago, whatever I don't know what the takeover is called, but then. So we have seen a lot of the championship title change and the lineage. Just Braun Breaker.
I mean, I was surprised because obviously I know that in the grand scheme of things it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about it later, but the NXT UK match only aired on like Thursday night, where the title was actually decided, and then as I say, 3 days later they went, "Oh, thanks." I was like, "Oh," so I did wonder, but wasn't to be.
Yeah, and Garrett, the main reason was I had Tyler Bate. I think John Smith even mentioned that after Mandy Rose unified the titles, John Smith. Holy crap, Al, I think you're going to be right about this. Like, I was amped about Tyler Bate winning that match, considering Mandy Rose unified the women's title. I didn't think they were going to I didn't think it was going to be a clean sweep, and it wasn't. But Mandy Rose got the job done. She defeated Miko Satomura, Blair Davenport after a kiss by Rose, I guess is the name of her jumping knee, better than Kenny Omega V-trigger move, on both Blair and Miko Satomura, pinning Blair to unify the championships. So Mandy Rose got it done. Here is that lineage. It started with Rhea Ripley, then she had a huge feud with Toni Storm. That was a lot of fun back in the day. Kaylee Ray, she defeated Toni Storm, and then she was our forever champion for a very long time before she ran into Miko Satomura, and then Mandy Rose is now the final champion. Mary Rose doing a very good Kurt Angle impersonation with her ring attire as well. So that was. I believe Barrett something. I've never seen the American flag look so good. So that was that. John Smith, before the Tag Team Championship unification match, Roddy Strong was taken out in the parking lot.
Yeah, we don't know how it happened. We just saw a bloody Roddy. He got carted off in the ambulance with Ivy Nile, keeping an eye on him. So the Creeds come out alone, but then Damon Kemp ended up out there at some point. I don't know if he came out with them or if he came out in the middle of the match. I forget which one. But so first it was an elimination match. First we get Briggs and Jensen out of there. Thank God. It was quick work of them too.
Well, he wasn't wearing his short shorts. Like he was actually wearing long pants for once. Jensen. It's baby steps, I guess, with him, right?
Right. All four teams should be legal at once in these types of matches. I hate how you have to be in the match is a disadvantage. Why would you ever tag in then? I would go to the back until there's one team left, and I'd come out. Anyway, so then Gallus gets eliminated by the Creeds next with the cannonball off the top rope onto in a chicken fight position. You know, I don't know how to describe it.
Electric chair.
Yeah, electric chair. There you go.
Chicken fight position.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not. But now every time I see
Am I wrong, Donnie? Am I wrong?
Now every time I see the Legion of Doom instead of a Doomsday device, like, oh, chicken fight position. That's you. Thank you. Just ruined the Legion of Doom for me.
Yeah, so then it's down to the Creeds and Pretty Deadly. Yes, boy. Look, it wasn't looking like it would go Pretty Deadly's way until Damon Kemp got in the ring and speared one of them who was trying to hit them with the chair, but then he picks the chair up and hits his own guy, one of the Creeds, I forget which one. He hits him with the chair, and then a spine buster backbreaker type thing, like a rock bottom into a backbreaker. And then Pretty Deadly just cleans up. They don't even put a move on him. Then you just pin him. And we get our 2-time NXT champions, Pretty freaking Deadly.
2-time NXT champions, 2-time NXT UK tag team champions. I believe they're the only teams on. If you look at this list, nobody else has won both titles. Not even FTR. I don't see the Revival on this list. Missed opportunity there. But yeah, that's it. Grizzled Young Veterans are the only team that'd be able to do that. Gallus, but yeah, Pretty Deadly. And I'm talking to John Smith during this match was happening when it came down to Pretty Deadly and the Creeds. I'm like, crap, there's no way Pretty Deadly's gonna win. Like, they just did this. They just had an elimination match where it came down to these two teams for tag team championships, and they're not gonna do that again, all right, boy. I think I said that last week too, and making the picks. Like, this is a match that Pretty Deadly usually wins, with the fact that they just did this. And look at me, color my face red. There you go. So that would be Pretty Deadly. And then there was one other championship, unfortunately, that was not defended for the NXT. It was go over Noam Dar. Obviously the greatest UK Heritage Cup champion of all time. The only 2-time champion, but look at that list right there. A-Kid was a great champion. Tyler Bate had great matches with A-Kid. How Noam Dar beat Tyler Bate, I still to this day I have no idea. But Noam Dar was he's your last ever. You know what, to tell you the truth, Gar, this cup should live on. They should bring the Heritage Cup to NXT 2.0. Let Noam Dar. That trophy was awesome.
I think he's coming. I know all this stuff. They're doing the best of 3 match, whatever, between Axiom and Nathan Fraser. But I know that Nathan Fraser on NXT, I don't know if it was this week or the week before, had talked about how there's rounds matches and was talking to Axiom as if he didn't. And I'm going, there's gonna be a rounds match, and you're just gonna hear Noam Dar's music hit, and he's like, hold on a wee second here. Who's the daddy of the rounds match? And out he comes with Alicia Fox around his arm or something like that. It'd be great.
We were actually, John and Don Smith, when we were watching, we were looking at the clock, like, wow, this show's going pretty fast. Like, do you think there's going to be a Supernova sessions? Like, is Noam Dar going to sneak out here and just do a quick dog show segment? Turned out, I'll tell you what it turned out to be in a second. But John DeConnie, I know what John Smith said. It's match of the year candidate with Walter and Gunther. I think Walter and Sheamus, Gunther and Sheamus. Thank you for laughing at that. I'm going to throw my hat. Ricochet and Carmelo Hayes deserves to be in that same sentence, if not the conversation, but because they were fast, they were flying in that match.
Yeah, if you're one of those people that refers to the Young Bucks as spot monkeys, if you're one of those people who doesn't like flippy guys, don't bother with this. If you're someone who likes high octane spot fests and has an extra 16 minutes on their hands, go find this match and watch it. I won't even attempt to do it full justice. It just was non-stop action between two incredible performers, and it was exactly what I had prayed it was going to be. Ricochet, in the Pix article, I said, he's just kind of starting to get his footing back on the main roster, so it almost doesn't make sense to put him down here. It certainly doesn't make sense to bring him down here and let him win. I think he's just here to bring out the best possible match from Hayes, and for a unbelievable change, I was 1,000% right, because these two put on an outstanding match. And unfortunately, to get to the ending they wanted to get to, we had to have Mr. Superfluous Trick Williams get involved for like the third or fourth time, and Ricochet, knocked him off of the apron, but that gave Mello enough time to recover from whatever most recent high spot had just landed, and that caused Ricochet to miss a shooting star press, which was beautiful, and he landed on his feet, and then Mello grabbed his head and pulled him into a small package for the roll-up victory.
Absolutely incredible match. Loved every second of it. NXT Tag Team Championship, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, they defeated Doudrop and Nikki Ash after Toxic Attraction again causing chaos so that Chance and Carter can win. So something weird is going on right now, but John Smith, the fact that this was the semi-main event, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, Doudrop gets the semi-main. She's really worked her way up.
That's up there. That's Jimmy Snuka and Rick Rude. It's right up there with that. Tony D and Stax discussing how they fired Legato, quoting Star Wars by saying, hey, there's always a bigger fish. Cameron Grimes happened to be walking by. Tony D asked him to join. Grimes said no, so look for a feud coming with Tony D. Nobody says no to Tony D. And then Grayson Waller shot a promo on his mother, which was pretty cool. Yeah. So here's how we ended up. Gary said I was with you, and it cost us a bunch of points.
Yeah.
A lot of 3s and 2s there. I got some extra points because I got Mandy Rose right. Gary just took it. You know what, Gary? I want to give you some bonus points back just because I know you bet with your heart, and I respect that. But goddamn, you're such a homer. I was with you on that, though. So Brian Roy Beavis Rabbits. Beavis passed me in the standings. I'm now tied with John DeConnie at 107. John and Gary down on the bottom, which will take us. What's going on here? Okay, so how it'll take us.
So, can I say I think it's somewhat ironic, given that the main NXT UK correspondent and the main NXT 2.0 correspondent are both bottom. I think there's hey that there.
Yeah, maybe we'll have some auditions.
Hey, I'm closer to the top than I am to you. All right, Gary.
We're too emotionally invested. That's what it is. We go with our heart.
John Smith, last Tuesday, stuff that was non-Worlds Collide related. Speaking of Grayson Waller, he shot the promo on his mother because of how he defeated Apollo Crews.
Right. Everybody called it a cheap victory because at one point, whether it was intentional or by mistake, he scratched Apollo Crews' eyes and ended up getting the victory because of it. Because Apollo just could not stop putting his hand over his eye. Why not just close your eye? Why not just close it? Why'd you have to have your hand over it? And you use 2 hands to fight. But, we get Grayson Waller doing a lap around the building real quick before he hits his finisher and a 1, 2, 3.
The Dyad got smiley faces for beating Wild and Del Toro the week prior. Good for them. There was one for Cameron Grimes as well. So Grimes came out, told him he doesn't need them. Gacy mentioned Grimes' father, so Grimes snapped, threw some punches at the Dyad before Gacy gave him a hug. So that was an interesting turn of events right there between Joe Gacy and the Dyad. Now if you throw Tony D'Angelo in the mix, Cameron Grimes is, it's nice to be wanted, but when you got when the mafia on one hand and you got a bunch of psychopaths on the other, I think it is best for them to just back off. Zoe Stark defeated Kiana James. Talk nerdy to me. After her Tilt-A-World go to sleep post-match attack thwarted by Nikita Lyons. So Zoe Stark and Nikita still keeping their team together, even though they weren't able to compete in the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship tournament together. As Gary mentioned, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, they were reading comic books together last week. Frazier was telling Axiom that Axiom has no idea what NXT UK was like and how different it was. Frazier tried to explain British rounds matches to him, so Axiom offered a 2 out of 3 series to let him know what it's like to compete in NXT UK. So tonight is going to be match 1 in a best 2 out of 3 series, Gary, between Ben Carter and A-Kid, or as we know him now as Nathan Frazier and Axiom.
Should be a great match. I mean, it really will. I think it'll be one of those. If they just let them go for 10 or 15 minutes, it'll be amazing.
I feel like they had a rounds match back in NXT. I feel like they had an Heritage Cup championship match.
They did. Well, I mean, it'll be absolutely brilliant. I think I'm going to go Nathan Fraser to take the first one and then kind of be like, you see, Axiom, you didn't really know what you were doing. And then all of a sudden, Axiom takes the next 2. So I'm going to say Nathan Fraser tonight.
Okay. John Smith.
I'm going to go with Axiom because I don't trust Gary.
John the County.
I'll go with Frazier for exactly what Gary said. That you're so good with numbers. I'm sure you'll pick it up, but he'll lose the first one and learn a lesson.
I think I'm going to go Axiom just because I feel it's the other way around. Like, yeah, maybe you know more than I guess you think you're so cool. What about this type of match or something? I think that'll be whatever the match 2 will be. What other type of matches other than I think it'll culminate with a rounds match, and I think Gary, if that's the case, and Noam Dar comes out, and that would just be absolutely perfect.
So much don't change his name to something like Willie McTavish or something like that. I mean, it's some sort of really Scottish
or he's just Dar.
Yeah.
Willie McTavish. JD McDonough, speaking of bad name changes, JD McDonough heard Wes Lee thinks he's creepy for the way he meticulously conditions his body. Wes Lee then at World Collide said if JD wants to get weird, then let's get weird. I do believe the quote John DeConnie is, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. But
exactly. Yes, and I
not all of us are Michael Keaton.
I'm assuming this should lead to a series of matches too between the two of them. So I'll say McDonough is going to take the first one here, just because. Yeah, I think he'll pick Wesley apart, and then Wesley will figure out what he did wrong, and blah 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 blah. So give me McDonough with the match this week.
Wow, it's just like Batman, Gary. You can get Batman the first time. Once Batman figures it out, you'll never catch him twice. So
I'm with John. Yeah, I can see that. I think JD. Well, I'm never going to pick against JD at the minute, so. Well, I think for the same reasons.
John Smith.
What was the match again? I'm sorry.
Jordan Devlin and Wesley.
Oh, yeah. You don't go from challenging for the world title to losing to Wesley, even if it's by a Raw roll-up. So, JD.
All right, and then we have some fallout from Worlds Collide matches that were announced pretty much a little over an hour ago, hour and a half. I think it was like 4:30 our time as we were prepping for the show in pre-production. I mentioned Toxic Attraction getting involved in Casey and Caden's matches, the last 2 specifically, where Toxic Attraction caused distractions for Katana and Caden to win. So Nikki Ash and Doudrop, they're going to go back to NXT tonight, and they're going to get at it with Toxic Attraction. So John Smith, this actually has semi-main written all over it.
Doudrop. No, I just wanted to do that. I got Toxic Attraction winning.
John DeConnie.
Yeah, I think Toxic Attraction takes this.
Gary, I'm gonna go. You're gonna go with your Scottish girls. I think Doudrop, and you're not going to. I'm on an island again on this one. Like, how much can these 2 lose? When was the last time they lose in W? They lose on Raw. Now they're losing in NXT. I think they gotta get a win here. I think they need a win here.
No, I mean, I think Toxic Attraction, it does. When I watched the match on Sunday, I worried slightly for their future endeavors in the next 6 months, but hopefully not. But or else they could bring them down to NXT. I mean, they bring main roster ones down every now and again just to kind of, I know like Natalia and stuff has been down. Whether they bring them down and have a little either feud between themselves or feud with somebody else. But I think that tonight, Toxic Attraction will take it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Doudrop and Nikki. Semi-main eventers for nothing. And then Ricochet's making his well back down to NXT tonight, and he's going to get after Trick Williams after all the shenanigans, John Smith, that happened at Worlds Collide, all the interference that Trick was doing.
Yeah, I don't see Trick winning this one. No,
I cannot see Trick Williams defeating Ricochet, John Nicani. Not a Triple H Ricochet. Anyway.
No, not unless it's a boxing match and he gets to put some rosin or rubbing alcohol on his glove or something. So, assuming it's a straight up wrestling match, Ricochet will take it.
All right, Gary.
Yep, Ireland's favorite wrestler, Ricochet, will take it.
There you go. And then last week, you know Bleep's getting real, all right? Last week on NXT, Roxanne Perez blocked Cora Jade on her phone. This has gotten so personal to the point where they're blocking each other. Oh, my God. Like, it's 2022. You block someone, them's fighting words. But I guess you'll never be able to see it, right? Because it's blocked. Anyway. But then I guess there was I was watching on Twitter, there was an exclusive backstage interview with Miko Satomura, which was interrupted by Cora Jade. Like, oh, I'm so sorry you lost. I wouldn't know what that's like. But now, you go the generation of Jade, I'll take you down. And Miko is just like, no, I already have an opponent and a respectful opponent in Roxanne Perez. So Gary Mehaffy again with Miko Satomura. I'm sure Roxanne said please. And that's why Miko granted the match. Cora, I did not hear that word at all. So therefore, you do not get what you want.
When I looked to see, I saw, you say when we're backstage and we saw that Mako had the match, I thought, oh, she's bound to win. Then I saw it was against Roxanne. I went, but I do think that this will be some sort of send off maybe for the next couple of weeks. But I think that Mako will win this and quite decisively.
John Smith.
Yeah, Miko, definitely.
All right, John Connie.
I think I'm gonna go with Mako, but there's part of me that you're supposed to lose on the way out the door, and that's very prevalent, especially in Japanese wrestling. So part of me isn't 100% on this, but I think I'm gonna go with Mako because I think they're gonna want to give her some kind of nice send off. So, but I can definitely see it going the other way.
Mako's never been pinned in NXT UK. I believe the only time she was ever pinned was in the Mae Young Classic all those years ago. She was in the second one, I believe, and she made it to the final four. No, for these women, it's an honor to fight her, and they don't give a crap about losing to her. Now, like Roxy's going to just lay right down for her, just like Isla Dawn did, and just like everybody else, Effie Valkyrie did, and just like Kaylee Ray did, and everybody else who Mako fought in the past year and a half while she was champion. It's just an honor, and that's... There you go. Mako Satomura, I shared the ring with her, so that's the most important thing. So that will do it for NXT 2K. John and John, I wouldn't say this is going to be for the last time, but for the time being, this will be a point. We're gonna kick you off screen for a little bit, and say hello to your loved ones. Go grab some groceries. I had a little heart to heart with Gary as me and Gary both say goodbye to NXT UK. Gary, it was a wild ride. It really was.
It was good while it lasted. Story of my life.
Yep. Gary, I'm giving you some time here. I know, right? It's top moments, favorite moments. They said it was a wild 6 years. It started with a huge tournament. I remember I emailed you. Way back when, like Gary, you're from overseas. Who are these guys? And I still have the email somewhere. I wanted to look at it before. I said there's two guys that were in that tournament that you went off about. It was Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. It was funny that you called it way back when. So then it progressed. They had their own takeovers. Pandemic kind of put a wrench in a lot of stuff, but your memories, NXT UK, and it said this isn't a sad thing. Because it's going to branch out into to something better eventually. So.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, everything that involved at any point that involved Walter, Pete Dunne, or Tyler Bate, or Ilya Dragunov. I mean, I hadn't even seen lots of Dragunov when he came in. I knew him a little bit. I'd seen the odd thing, and then when he came in, you realize how good he is. But there was them, and then obviously there were people that I couldn't stand to see on the screen for various reasons, but everybody played their part and did do their role, and people grew on me. Fine rightly at the start, I was like, with Noam Dar, was like, eh. And then at the end was like, everything he touches turns to gold. Change his name in 2.0 to Midas or something like that. I'd be like, just because he is so good. But yeah, it was just the thing that sort of how, and I couldn't actually have ended in a better way. I don't think the last show, because Saxon Huxley was on. No, I don't. I don't think it could have ended in a better way. In hindsight, with having the Trent Seven Tyler Bate match, like two of the founding fathers from back in the day, that they did that. So hopefully, as you say, as it goes to NXT Europe and stuff, hopefully, obviously, some of the talent seem to be going stateside, and hopefully that some of the others will be picked back up again, along with probably some other people from WXW and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who'll come in from the European side of things, but
yeah, there's a lot. You bring up some stuff from my head. Yeah, let's say Noam Dar, the British Rounds match in general. I kind of scoffed at it at first because I remember Impact tried to do it and it was terrible. It just didn't work well for them, especially with Damian Sandow winning all the time in those matches. It wasn't working for me, and it didn't last long. So these were absolutely great. Yeah, it started Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. That was a great way to end it. That was a very Ric Flair and Sting way to end it. The way WCW died.
Obviously, I was introduced to my new man crush, Charlie Dempsey, obviously, through it as well. And that obviously.
We won't bring up how Charlie Dempsey lost to Andre Chase. Like I purposely left that one out. No. They're not going to carry and cross him. Don't worry about it. Charlie Dempsey's going to be fine. DeFamilia ended up having a horrible run towards the end of it. They sucked. Yeah. I was really upset by them and how bad they were doing. But the women's division was top notch, Gar, and that was the thing that's always Triple H right there that tries to do it.
Poor Tiger Turan still running about with his mask on. Nobody knows who he is.
So they that was a lot of fun, Gar. And like I said, I guess my final question. And I know it ended right. I know Tyler Bate. It would have been nice to see him send off, but hypothetically, Ilya Dragunov doesn't get injured. Does he beat Braun Breaker?
I think
that's going to be the question.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that's because I mean I know Tyler Bate had been across as well, but Dragunov had been across and had the match with Walter and really kind of had the big and the crowd really behind him. I could have seen that if he had a long title reign come through, and if the same thing had happened that they were closing it, you kind of go, right, let's start. We've had a long reign, keep it going. So I would say so.
Yeah. All right. So Gary, that'll do it for us. Like I said, the championship match didn't work out. Tyler Bate suffered an Miko and Blair both got the loss, but Pretty Deadly. That was a nice little surprise. Pretty Deadly got it done. They just.
And we can keep our fingers crossed for Jenny.
Yeah. Well, she needs to be an Imperium. Like they just skip NXT with her altogether and just put her with Gunther and Imperium, and just because she's just got that snot, like she's got that Marcel Bartel look to her. Like she just looks like a was it resting bitch face? Like it's
yeah.
But you say a lot. Effie Valkyrie and Isla Dawn, and hopefully where's my girl? You got to get her back, too. Got to get her back.
I would say so.
All right, Gary, these were fun segments with you. I enjoy this. We're not saying goodbye to you, obviously. You're going to be, once NXT Europe starts up, we'll give you a segment back. But you're going to be, Gary will be back each and every week. He'll discuss NXT or whatever he wants to do. We're not kicking Gary off payroll here. Gary's not being featured in numbers. He'll be fine. So, Gary, that was a fun couple years with NXT UK. Looking forward to NXT Europe, and it's going to kick off something big. So, all right, Gary, have yourself a great night. We will see you next week.
Have a good one. See you soon.
As we bring back in John DeConnie, as we bring back in John Smith, I know you guys really didn't do too much with NXT UK. I know, John the Connie, you were kind of watching towards the end. John Smith, I know you didn't watch it all that much, right?
No, I was happy it was leaving because I thought Gary was leaving us.
Gary's gonna stay. He's got NXT. Gary's gonna get upgraded. I already put in he's going from a territory, from a UK territory to an entire continent. So I do believe I did put in for Gary to get double the pay.
Too bad it's Antarctica.
Yeah, yes. NXT Antarctica. Imagine that.
Send Gary down there.
So that will bring us to Thursday Night Impact. There was a backstage before we get into the show. It was a part of the show just because Impact always does good by stuff like this. But there was a backstage interview with Violent by Design. There was a promo with Violent by Design. They're going to go their separate ways since they have different paths to follow. Eric Young is going to go do his thing. If Diener wants to follow him, he can. Joe Doring, unfortunately, once again has brain cancer. He fought it off once a couple of years ago. He battled it, and this is okay, but it came back, and now he has to continue to fight. So the best of luck to Joe Doring. You have our support. We appreciate you. Go dominate this thing the same way you dominated your opponents since being an Impact. We can't wait to see you back in the ring, and I do believe after I wrote that piece, I do believe Impact. If you choose to want to help Joe Doring financially through this, if the T-shirts that you buy, he has a new T-shirt out. If you buy it, 100% of the proceeds will go towards him and his fight. So I might actually have to go to buy another Impact shirt to go along with my Christian Cage one. So, Joe, kick this thing's ass, buddy. Can't wait to see you back soon. John the Connie, the main event was the number one contenders match for the Knockouts Championship at Bound for Glory.
Yes, indeed. And, I'm being sarcastic and I'm only half serious about this, but I wondered, this is a main event. And Impact main events are usually pretty, on the longer side, and there's a lot to them. Masha hadn't worked a match more than about 1:48 seconds.
Yes.
Now she's taking on Deanna, so there's no easy pickings there. But it remained to be seen. Exactly. Our former champ. It remained to be seen if Masha could go more than 2 minutes in Impact. I mean, if you've seen her in the Independents, you used to have a guy for that. Maybe you know something about her that I don't, but I hadn't seen her go more than 2 minutes yet. Well, clearly she has more than a clothesline and a snowplow, because these two went at it for 15 plus, and she got out of a couple of arm bars. I think she even kicked out of the Queen's Gambit. It was a good match. It was a good back and forth match, and I will look forward to seeing those two go at it again sometime again in the future. But in the end, she booted Chelsea Green off the apron, who was kind of getting in the way, and then delivered the snowplow for the win. And she goes on to Bound for Glory to face Jordynne Grace, who made her way out after the match to deliver her own death warrant. She delivered a black envelope to Masha. Inside, of course, was her 8x10 and a big bloody red X through it. So that's going to be a hell of a, well, it probably won't be the main event, but maybe semi-main?
Maybe semi-main. Yeah, that wasn't an invitation to brunch.
Hell no.
That kills me every time I say it. I hope this is an invitation to brunch. Mickie James returned. I'm going to throw this up there. I found this the other day. I'm going to throw this up now every time I quote Bobby. Wow, would you look at them? From the 1992. Mickie James returns. Look at them. We got her entire life story. She's still not letting go of the whole trash bag thing from WWE. That's nice to see she's gotten over that. Anyways, long story short, she wants to prove that she still belongs. And she wants to prove that she's got it, but she wants to earn it Mortal Kombat style, where she's going to start at the bottom, work her way up to Shang Tsung and the Knockouts Championship. But if she loses, she'll be done a la Ric Flair back in 2007, 2008, before his match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24. So let the Mickie James retirement tour commence. Or what you call it? One last rodeo, right? There was a video package with Killer Kelly, who's coming out with some great one-liners. Let me see if I get this one right. She's a people watcher. And with Tasha, Kelly is figuring her out, and in the end, she wants to watch Tasha watch her.
Okay.
Put that on a shirt. I like that too. This video, Brian Myers got his belt back from Bhupender Gujjar, but not before Gujjar punched him in the face. This was announced a couple hours ago as well. There's going to be a digital media championship this Thursday night, as Brian Myers will defend against Bhupender Gujjar, John McConney.
Huh. That that makes me think Gujjar might take it, because otherwise, why wouldn't you let him chase Gujjar around until the match and then take the belt back when he wins? So, what the hell? Give me Gujjar as your new DMC.
Wow. John Smith, Gujjar's he's not even Twitter verified. Like, how is he going to be the digital media champion?
Well, now that you mentioned that, I don't think he's going to win it.
Maybe this is how he gets his check mark.
Yeah, this is how he gets the check mark.
And how many people are going to be searching for Bhupender Gujjar?
One J or two.
What is that, 5 O's or 2 U's?
Yes.
You ever see Harold and Kumar?
Yes.
Kumar, what is that, 5 O's or 2 U's?
All right. Yeah, I can see a new champ. That'd be fun. Yeah, why not? We had the rematch on the pre-show of
Sure.
Victory Road. Since Jessica won her in-ring debut the week prior because she's sick, so she feels ready to go back after the tag titles. Rosemary, on her hand, needs a little more convincing. So Jessica will be put to the test this week to prove that she won't be a distraction, as she'll accompany Taya Valkyrie to the ring in her match against Chelsea Green, John Smith. Taya Valkyrie versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green with a good showing this weekend, if you saw the videos. Yes. Great showing.
They're spectacular. Bobby Heenan.
Wow, would you look at things to do for a victory in GCW, right?
You know what? I'm going to be picking Chelsea Green every match she's ever in for the rest of her life. I got Chelsea.
John DeConnie.
Imagine if she didn't wear the pasties, how over she'd be. Yeah, I assume that because this is Jessica's big test, she'll manage to screw it up. So give me Chelsea over Tara.
Yeah. Aussie Open apparently making the round in the United States. Just finished up their run in AEW. Now they're at Impact looking for tag team gold. This week they'll start their journey against the Bullet Club's Ace Austin and Chris Bay. John McConney.
I mean, I know the Bullet Club isn't actually like, a corporation, but I wonder how the guys in Japan feel about the fact that they're kind of jobbers in Impact. Unless Jay White comes over to spice things up, I see them losing here to Aussie Open. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's especially since there's some type of Japanese champion. I think he's right. We had a guy for that, John Smith.
I don't know.
Not right. After the interview with Aussie Open, again, arguing in the background with Moose and Macklin, Barbed Wire Massacre is going to go one of two ways. Either they're going to be at each other's throats, or they're finally going to take out Sami Callihan like Moose had originally planned for. So it is now coming out that they were working together, even though Moose was denied. Yuya Uemura. I do believe that is referee Red Shoes' son, if I remember correctly, had a match with Chris Jericho at Forbidden Door. He was in the 6-man. There was a trios match at Forbidden Door against Jericho. So name sounds familiar. He's going to debut this Thursday. He's overseas for a little bit. Show started with the OGK winning the tag team championships from the Good Brothers after a proton pack. So again, I guess this is deserved, which was coming, but I also don't know where the Good Brothers stand now. They're kind of in contract limbo. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe they can keep them around for Bound for Glory for something big. Anyway, there was a backstage celebration with Honor No More. But again, Eddie went after PCO, and Vincent again had to put out the fire. This is becoming unprovoked right now. Like, this is just making no sense. Eddie, listen, pal, I'm a fan, but so is PCO. How much more do you want the guy to prove that he's loyal to your cause? Lay off him. That was my little love note. Eddie Edwards right there. John Smith. I don't know, more wasn't done. They wanted more gold. So Kenny King went after your boy.
Yeah, my boy Speedball in another fantastic showing. It didn't seem to be that way at first, though, because about halfway into this match, or actually the end of the match, he goes for a sunset flip, and Kenny King sits down on it and holds Maria Kanellis' arms and gets the victory, gets the belt. The referee had gotten knocked out, so it was a different ref that came out and made the call. But then the original referee was outside of the ring watching this happen, and he tells the new referee, no title change, no victory, he cheated. So they, obviously are up in arms, Honor No More, and no, we don't want to give the belt back. But Kenny King says, you know what, I got this. I can go back in there. He tells Eddie, don't worry about it. Gets back in the ring. Speedball goes for the ultimate weapon, and Kenny King stands up, which is how you would counter that, by just standing up. But also lifts the knee. But then about 5 seconds later, Speedball gets up for a Hurricane Rana and gets his own little schoolboy roll up. Score one for Impact, Al, because we got a Raw roll up for Speedball Mike Bailey to retain his title. We had
one Raw roll up going to another Raw roll up. Love it. Mascara Dorada, aka or FKA, excuse me, Grand Metalik. He defeated Alex Zane with a Dorado driver to earn an X Division Championship match. So you're going to be getting Grand Metalik going up against your boy at some point in time coming up. I don't think it's going to be this Thursday. I would save that for Victory Road, to be honest with you, because that match is going to be sick. And then we had a backstage interview with Josh Alexander. Always wanted a one-on-one match with Eddie Edwards. He owes everything to Impact Wrestling. He loves being the face of the company. Interrupted by Eddie, who respects what Josh is saying because that's how he once was. But Impact will screw him just like they screwed Eddie. Cue up Heath, who attacked Eddie, and then we have Tommy Dreamer sightings. This is the first time. That was the first time we've seen Tommy Dreamer in a very long time. During the pull apart. Good work. I haven't seen him in a spell. D'Amore appeared giving Heath his match against Eddie this week in hopes that Heath will stop attacking his Bound for Glory main event. So we're getting Eddie Edwards and Heath. Tonight, John DeConte is your senior Impact correspondent. Sneak attack after sneak attack after sneak attack. Heath has to man up now and go face to face. Kind of hope Rhino comes back soon. Yeah. I think I would love to see an OGK versus Heath and Rhino at Bound for Glory.
That would be excellent, and I could see that happening because I'm okay. Impact has done this before and made a liar out of me, but I don't think you want to hang a loss on your Bound for Glory main eventer. So I'm going to say Eddie gets it done here, but a lot of guys in Honor No More have beef with Heath, so I could definitely see a post-match beatdown, hopefully, like you said, leading to Rhino's return.
And then gores everywhere, John Smith. Gores everywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that train of thought. That sounds about right.
All right, so that will do it for Impact Wrestling. I said Raw's got a healthy, match. Monday Night Football games up to go against. Impact now has to cope against the Thursday night season opener between the Rams and the Bills. So let's see if Eddie and Heath can step up their game, get some viewers. So we will go from Impact to AEW and All Out, which was a great show. John DeConte. We kind of questioned what was going on, this, that, and the other with the main event, the rematch between Jon Moxley and CM Punk after a 3-minute squash about a week and a half prior. And then there was a casino ladder match and some weird guy in a mask that I thought, I'm sitting there, I'm watching the way that guy was walking, like, is that Austin Aries? I'm way off. John DeConnie, to make a sense of all this.
All right, so I guess I'll start from the top. We kicked off the main card of the pay-per-view with our casino ladder match. And they made a point of saying that all participants do not have to be in the ring for someone to win. So the match starts with Wheeler Yuta and Rey Fenix. And, you know, technically, if one of them had climbed the ladder, grabbed the chip right there, match would have been over before we even saw the rest of the.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where the earlier number you pick is actually more beneficial because it gives you more opportunity, more chances to win. And I'm kind of hope that at some point that they actually pull the trigger on doing that.
Yeah.
Like just have like a casino battle, but have like the whole back end be like Peter Avalon. It's like random guys. Like, why is this guy even on the page? And then they don't even get to him, and they come out on the stage like, "Come on, what happened?" But anyway,
Yes. Okay. So as I said, Yuta and Phoenix started it. Number 3 was Roosh, followed by Andrade, Claudio, Dante, and Penta. And it was listening to those names, it was exactly the car crash you would expect from all of those guys. And it went on for about the whole match went about 14 minutes. So about 13 minutes of these guys just doing incredibly painful looking stuff with ladders and feats of strength by Claudio, et cetera, et cetera. And then you had Claudio, I think Yuta and Andrade on the ladder. And the ring floods with guys in black hoodies and masks. They topple over the ladder, sending the 3 guys that were on it off of it. They stand the ladder back up. There's like 4 guys, watching to ward off anybody who tries to make it back in. And one of the figures climbs the ladder, undoes the token, the casino chip, and pulls off his mask to reveal it's Stokely Hathaway. Everybody else unmasks, and it's was it Lee Moriarty, the one with the green hair?
it was all Jay Cargill's baddies.
Okay. Ethan Page, both members of the Gun Club, W. Morrissey, and led by Stokely Hathaway, who now is in possession of the chip. He gets off of the ladder. Like, I thought he might stay up there on the ladder and then like toss it to whomever. He came down off the ladder, and they're all just standing there in the ring. And what the hell is going on? I mean, the match can't be over. This person's not in the match unless they're the Joker, which we haven't been told yet. And the countdown comes, and the Joker comes out. He's not just wearing a hood. He's wearing some kind of demon mask, something from, the Caligula or some such. And he makes it all the way down there, and he's handed the chip. Then the bell rings. It's over. The Joker is your winner. He bends down to grab the back of his mask, and no. He's not going to reveal himself right now. They all leave, and, you had a really great 14-minute ladder match, but you're left in the opening segment of the pay-per-view going, somebody's got a world title shot, but who the hell is it? Fast forward to the main event. Things become a little more clear. You have your main event featuring champion Jon Moxley, who just unified the belts from CM Punk after that previously mentioned 3-minute squash. This one gets crazy a little bit early because Punk hits a GPS like within the first 2 minutes and gets like a 2 3/4 count. And then they fight to the floor. They fight well up into the stadium, and somehow there's not a 10 count. They come all the way back to the ringside area where Punk gets his head bounced off of the ring post, and he's busted open pretty bad. He's wearing the crimson mask within a couple of seconds, and he continues to bleed all over himself, Moxley, in his pretty white, outfit throughout the rest of the match. Mox works on that cut with elbows and a couple of headbutts. Around 18 minutes into this, Punk attempts a GTS, but it's countered into a paradigm shift. Holy crap, here we go again. It's only a 2. Mox locks on the Bulldog choke. Punk gets him up hanging from his own neck, delivers another GTS. Mox kind of bounces off the ring ropes and lands across Punk's shoulders. So why the hell not? One more GTS. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and new champion, CM Punk. That was about a 20-minute match, and Chicago explodes. He's celebrating with the fans, and then lights out. And the lights out lasted longer than usual. There was like 10 minutes of silence and little rumblings in the crowd, but lights out and silence. Then you get over the loudspeaker. Like we don't see the video. There's no video to go with this because it was obviously a voicemail. It's Tony Khan talking to someone and saying, "Okay, I'll put you in the casino ladder match, but this is your last chance." We don't have any contacts. Sure, a lot of people could guess, but that's all we get from the voice of TK. Now the video screen lights up. It's the summer of Punk 2005. He's got the Ring of Honor title over his shoulder, and he repeats the bastardized line, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing people he didn't exist.
Kaiser Sose.
Goes back way further than that. He's a French poet. But anyway, screen goes back again, and now the Joker is on the screen. He turns around, pulls off his mask. All we see is, short hair. And then he puts on a Burberry scarf, and the music hits, and your Joker is MJF. He then comes out of the heel tunnel. He teases a run down to the ring, but decides instead to flip off the fans in Chicago because, hey, we're going to New York soon where he's a golden god. So not good enough for you Chicago folks for him to get sweaty tonight.
Yeah, then things got a little more interesting about the conference, the scrum, if you want to call it. Poor choice of words on that one. I think they'll change that one going forward. We'll let you guys read about that. We're not here to report on that. But yeah, I guess chairs were thrown, punches were thrown, feelings were hurt.
Including
Mud show. Backyard wrestling with a budget.
Yep. John Smith. The interim women's championship match, that went your way. Not everybody's way, though. I think we all kind of had that one. But I know you're the biggest fan. Where is she? There you go.
Lovely.
This one should have been the semi-main because it gave me a semi.
Nah.
The whole match, I was wondering if and when Britt Baker and Hayter would actually come to blows, and end up not even really happening, but Baker went for a cover on Hayter after after she got hit with somebody's finisher. I forget which one. Then she went for the lockjaw, but then got hit by the pendulum DDT by Tony. Then Tony hit Hayter with the same move. 1, 2, 3, and you're interim champion. Which means it doesn't count unless you beat the real champ when they came back. Tony Storm, you deserve it.
Tony Storm. Now, so that does her name go on the championship list, or like?
I say yes. I say yes.
I would think yes too. I don't know.
Yeah, she has the belt.
It's still cheapened though by the fact that Thunder Rosa is still champion, and like her reign continues. Like she'll have X amount of days that while she's injured added to her title reign when she wasn't even defending it, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, just make her vacated. Promise her, she's the number one contender whenever she comes back. But just make them vacate. I hate these interim. I hate it in the UFC. Just vacate, damn it.
Yeah, we just got rid of it, and then also the next thing. I think what was it like 90 minutes later or 45 minutes later? We just got Moxley to. We got to bring him back in the interim. So I guess it's something different. It's worth a shot. It's not working, but it's something different. God bless TK. He's trying. The Elite defeated the Dark Order after a buckshot lariat. Oh, friendly fire on John Silver. That was. You saw the heart. I was heartbroken, but you saw the heartbreak in Paige's eyes when he was trying to break up the cover after he accidentally hit John Silver with it. That was just heartbroken. That Cinderella story needed to happen.
And Silver had kind of stolen that match too. He was everywhere in that match.
He was. That was. Instead, I just hope if Full Gear's coming up, I'm assuming the main event's going to be Kenny Omega versus John Silver. It has to be. Swerve in Our Glory defeated the Acclaimed after a Doomsday Swerve Stomp to retain the tag title. That match, what it was, a Jonathan about right, 22 minutes, 25 seconds. Wow, that's one thing. But two, like, the crowd is really behind the Acclaimed now. Like, this was shocking. Like, to the point where they were cringeworthy when they first came out, and now they're just the hottest thing ever just because of the Sesame stuff, which is great. So good for them. I spy a Jersey guy, Anthony Bowens. I guess maybe I'll get it eventually, but I guess they're good in the ring. I'm not saying the wrestling's bad, but I'm just like, the rapping. We saw that in 2002, 3, whatever it was. Anyway, She-Hulk defeated Athena after Jaded to retain the TBS championship. Christian Cage. Oh my God, worked everybody again. I do believe I saw it coming though, with Luchasaurus never being in Jungle Boy's corner this whole time. He hit Luchasaurus attacked Jungle Boy at the entrance ramp, tossed him in to Christian Cage, who popped a kill switch. 24 seconds later, we have a 1, 2, 3. And very happy Al Karl, because I was on an island on that one.
How's the weather on your island, Al?
That was good. Yeah, between me, Christian Cage, and Mandy Rose, we're all chilling out on my island. Victories. But then again, so I wasn't on the island with Tyler, but I was with Gary on that. Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin beat the House of Black. John Smith. Do you want to tell a quick story about that one real quick? Or?
Yeah, I was at a bar watching this, and there was a bunch of like AEW smart idiots. Basically, there were a couple cool people, but like Sting did like something where he risked his body for no reason, and the whole bar started chanting, "You've still got it," to somebody that was on the television, and that's just like AEW in a nutshell for me. Like, yeah, Sting does still have it, but the fans just take so much away from it while you're watching it.
It's that guy in the commercial. You're turning into your parents whenever they're in the movie theater. They're clapping. No one who wrote the movie is here. Stop.
Exactly.
Wardlow and FTR, they defeated Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns after, I believe it was quoted, a powerbomb of symphonies, I believe is what they call it.
Very well.
Yep. And then an 8-year-old girl beat up Sanjay Dutt, which was awesome. Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Ricky Starks after a spine buster. Oh, I wanted that one too.
And Samoa Joe returned.
Oh yeah, Samoa Joe returned. Yeah, I missed that. I missed that at some point. When did Samoa Joe return? That was that match, right?
During at the end of when the Machine Guns, Sanjay and Satnam started trying to gang up on Wardlow and FTR.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, so it was good to see Samoa Joe back. I don't know why I didn't have that in my notes. I missed it. I guess I was outside having a cigarette. Then on the 0 Hour show, Sammy Guevara again, hit with a golf cart. And again, it was funny because they're not doing it all the time. I don't remember the last time he got hit. I think it was like 1.5 years, 2 years ago.
Exactly.
But if you keep on bringing this back up every so often that he hit Sammy with a golf cart, it's hysterical. So Very good job on comedic timing by AEW on that one. That was good. It was who I don't even know who was driving the other time. No, Hangman Page did it once. I know it was all in a inner circle guy. No, not inner circle.
Yeah, it was Stadium Stampede, I think, right? Is when it happened.
Yeah, but Ortiz was in the inner circle, so this is the first time Ortiz got to do it. Okay,
right.
I'm putting everything together. And then in their match, Sammy Guevara, Ty Mello, they defeated Ortiz and Ruby Riott after Ty KO to retain the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships. Hook defeated Angelo Parker with Red Rum to retain the FTW title. Eddie Kingston, Tomohiro Ishii, after some sort of driver, it was a tough match. Apparently, we need to write this down. There's no such thing as on-screen punishments in AEW. Because wasn't Kingston suspended for attacking Sammy Guevara in the back? That's why I kind of picked Ishii. I thought this was like an on-screen type of punishment. Apparently, AEW doesn't believe in that. I would love to know what Meltzer rated this match. It was a slap fest, which is fine. It's entertaining. But we're rating wrestling. That was 0 stars.
It was like great value, Gunther versus Sheamus.
It was. It's exactly what it was. Like, Gunther and Sheamus is the greatest match of all time, but you have Eddie Kingston and Ishii do it. You're like, Then Pac defeated Kip Sabian with a black arrow to retain the All-Atlantic title. Good to see Kip again. It was 500 plus days he was gone. That was crazy when Miro beat the crap out of him. I think it was like a locker room area or something like that. That was nuts. Post-match, a couple things. First, Orange Cassidy came out to challenge Pac, and Pac's called him a joke, said no. The second thing was Kip Sabian apparently turned into Perry Saturn, blaming the cardboard box, we might as well just call it Moppy, for the loss. So that going into, well, before we get into Dynamite this upcoming week, here are the AEW standings. Everybody pretty much had a good show here. With the exception of John Smith. I think, John, you had Moxley, which is the reason why you're a little bit lower. Brian Roy, John Nicani, myself, and Beavis all. Gary got 10 wins too, all over 10 wins. And here are the overall standings from last week. 3 shows, lots of points poured out, and Brian Roy just extending his lead. A Tyler Bate win would have been huge for me, and it just was not meant to be. John Nicani, little less than 20 points behind Brian Roy for the overall lead. So that will bring us AEW. A couple things we'll hear from last week. One thing last week, we mentioned W. Morrissey. He's back in AEW. He took out the Wingman and then accepted a business card from Stokely Hathaway to become one of Jade Cargill's baddies as they walked away together. This week, coming up this Wednesday night, we're going to hear from MJF, which is, I guess, that makes sense. I mentioned Pac and Orange Cassidy had their altercation. There's some fallout from there. They're going to have a trios match. It's going to be the entire Death Triangle going up against Orange Cassidy and Best Friends, John McConney.
It should be a really fun match. I'm trying to think, how do we get there? I guess Best Friends and Orange Cassidy win, and maybe Cassidy pins Pac, and that's how we get to the All Atlantic Championship match. Give me Best Friends.
John Smith.
Sure, why not?
All right. Then the Ring of Honor Pure Championship on the line here. We're having a rematch from Death Before Dishonor as Wheeler Yuta is putting the title on the line against Daniel Garcia. Great showing at Death Before Dishonor. Daniel Garcia, I guess he's upset that Jericho cheated to win in his match with Bryan Danielson. I guess we've got to talk about that. Jericho got the win on that one by hook or by crook. I have to put that in my notes for whatever reason. But so Daniel Garcia is not happy with that. So we're having a rematch, the WWE, the 50-50 buyback. But then you have the fact that this is in Buffalo, John Smith, where Daniel Garcia is from. So he's been wearing like these Buffalo Kids shirts the past couple weeks. It's up in Travis country, Beavis country. So I'm going to go with a new champion here. I think this would be a nice moment for Daniel Garcia. And plus, take a title away from the Blackpool Combat Club. It seems like every single one of them, they own everything. Well, not anymore. They don't. Now the Moxley lost.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. They've been pushing him a lot, giving him a lot of TV time. So it's got to be a reason for it.
And then John Nicani, I do believe Claudio Castagnoli has a Ring of Honor World Championship match on Dark at some point.
Jesus Christ!
Jesus, really?
I figured who it was against.
You know what? I'm not sure I care who it's against unless it was CM Punk. So I think he's going to beat anyone but your world champion at this point, especially on Dark.
Yeah. All right. Who do you got? Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia.
I agree with you. New champion. He's been involved in a very interesting storyline. And then I think the continued storyline will be he'll have to choose. Does he go to the Blackpool Combat Club or at least under the wing of Bryan Danielson? Or does he go back with Chris Jericho? And how does Wheeler Yuta feel about it if he does go with the Blackpool Combat Club? So I think there's a better story to tell there if Garcia takes it this time.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking as well. So, fun weekend overall, boys. John Nicani, what'd you think? Three huge pay-per-views in 2 days. That was a great Labor Day. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was a hell of a weekend. 5 hours might have been a little too much in one chunk for me, but I didn't watch it all in one chunk, so it broke things up nicely.
John Smith, what do you think of the weekend?
Yeah, like you said, the AEW show is a little too long. It always is a little too long. You know, they should go to having maybe like 6 here instead of 4, and then cut an hour off of each one. That I feel like it would make it less painful to get through. But yeah, Gunther and Sheamus stole the weekend. Worlds Collide was great too. You know, I even enjoyed AEW except for the main event.
All right, as we mentioned at the top of the show, these were all roll-ups going into last week, and we had a bunch, although we did not get a chance to talk about all of them. Elton Prince last week on NXT on Tuesday, he got one. Andre Chase rolled up Charlie Dempsey, which was, wow. Wheeler Yuta got one. Mike Bailey. John Silver rolled up his way to the Trios Championship match. Ruby Soho earned the AAA championship, the mixed tag team title match by rolling up Carmelo Hayes at Worlds Collide, rolling up Ricochet, Darby Allin. So if we do the math here, all right, I see 1 for Impact with Mike Bailey. I see 3 for NXT, and I see 4 for AEW. And we have a new leader. AEW has passed Raw in the Raw roll-up category. The Russian is hurt. Unbelievable. We got 4 more months left in the competition, and AEW just made a statement last week with 4 Raw roll-ups. Unreal. Wheeler Yuta has now tied Xavier Woods for the top of the list. And we had a whole bunch now tied with 3. The Miz and Tamina still leading the loss column. The Miz hasn't been rolled up in a while. That's been good. So, yeah, right? AEW. Nice. I really hope we have to rename this.
And we used to make fun of Raw for the Raw roll-ups and like, you know, make fun of it like they weren't taking things seriously. It's like, oh yeah, just do another roll-up. And then it turns out everybody's freaking doing it at pretty much the same rate.
Yep. So we got to paying attention. All right, so let's get into some closing. Oh, this will be fun. Here we go. The summer is in the rearview mirror, and that means the primetime rundown is back on its usual day and time as Joey Jarzenka, Ian Schreier, and Mike Szabo return to Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with everything you need to know in the world of sports. And as we mentioned a couple times, that football season is upon us, which means the Eastern Observer Survivor Pool is beginning. Here's what we did last year. John DeConnie led the way with us. We had a 4 that we won by 4, right? 73 wins. They had 69. We won by 4. John DeConnie with the overall win. I won the Hockey League, won the primetime rundown. When are they ever going to start in on this one? Maybe we could do something for the baseball playoffs or something to get them rolling. We have just been owning the primetime rundown, which has been a lot of fun.
What you guys got for your week 1 picks for the NFL?
That was exactly my next question. Unfortunately, I am just going to pick up, I don't say where I left off last year, but I think the Giants are going to pick up where they left off last year, so I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans for my pick. John DeConnie?
What I went with.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to look again real quick, but that's where I was leaning.
Nothing really else kind of stuck out to me. It's a John Smith. I'll buy it that it's a revenge game, but
plus it's a home game for the Jets, and it's the home opener, so like all those factors, why would you, when you have everything available, why would you pick them? But yeah.
Okay, so that should be fun. We'll see how we do. Oh, yeah, with the standings, obviously, we're gonna have it's gonna be the 3 of us. It's actually Tyler Adele will be with us as well. We need 2 more people on our team. The first person that we drafted, the gentleman by the name of Evan Winter, who just happens to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat writer. So we got a little bit of an expert on our team, along with young and up-and-coming Nick Amiano, who is a high school, not an intern yet, he's not in college, but he's a writer for the Eastern Observer. Heard his mom is kind of hot, too. So let's see what I can do with that. You're going to bring him in and ask him that question. Do you have an interest in becoming a sports reporter? Would you like me to ask him? What's that?
better keep Zach Wilson away from her.
Yeah. Nikki's gonna be exactly. Nikki's our version of Zach Wilson. He likes the older women, and then he's gonna hot mom himself. So, do you have any interest in becoming a sports reporter? Would you like to be asking high-profile coaches and players questions in person? Are you a college student looking to break into the sports media industry and looking to write about your favorite team? The Eastern Observer is looking for interested candidates to join the family for college credit. Look no further. Aspiring writers, social medias, specialists, content creators, etc. can inquire by emailing eosports3@gmail.com. We are looking forward to having you join the Eastern Observer family. The Black Cats NYC, anywhere that you get your music, YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere in these platforms that you get your music, you can get the Black Cats NYC's album Free Cake, their official band of the Eastern Observer. It's out now. Play wow. As always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick 'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends, play against the universe, and guys, she will like it too. Join us back here for episode 118 at 5 p.m. Eastern on all of our viewing options. The same way you're watching the show now, you can watch us next week as well. And while you're here and now watching or listening, please make sure that you like this episode and subscribe to the Eastern Observer to make sure you get all the updates on all of our shows and news articles. And goddamn, guys, we know it's all about the algorithm. Please make sure, smash that like button or do whatever the hell the other YouTubers tell you have to do. Whatever you have to do, please help us. It does help us out with our stuff. John the Connie, anything before we get out of here?
Big week. It's the Sport of Kings better than Diamond Rings. And it's back, baby.
John Smith.
No, we have nothing for you. Don't leave your phone on the top of your car.
Don't leave your phone. That's right. The more you know. Did you used to have a segment on the show? Alexa Bliss, we love you. Larry Steed, forever in our hearts. Zaya Brookside, we miss you. Can't wait to see you in a couple months, hopefully. I said Tegan Knox, missed opportunity. Where is Tegan? Unless they're planning for her to be NXT. She can run NXT Europe. She would be the star over there.
I think you're her only fan. I think you're her only fan.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible.
I've never seen anybody on the internet like, oh man, we need Tegan besides you.
Shut up, John. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. John the Connie, take us home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.